qualifiers to really have a chance to make it to Berlin.
Well, here we go. You can see the bird is in the air. The teams are about ready to go. The PGI Global Invitational for Berlin is underway. The European teams take to the skies for the first time on day one here. And match number one, 15 games to be played, 5 each day throughout Friday, Saturday and Sunday. All will be taking part here at the Haymarket Theatre in Leicester.
There they go.
And we are live. The plane, of course, as we mentioned, it is going to be going across Quarry, if I could only speak, and down to the channel. And it is a very, very safe plane. It's going to cause so many problems for everyone looking for those vehicles going north. Think of Method and Pajinki. They're going to have to secure their territory very early because everybody wants to get towards Rozhok, to a school, to Yasnaya. Everybody's going to be looking for their cars.
And that's a big thing. We see so many teams that love going Georgia Pool, Yasnaya. They have to secure something very early. And so therefore, there's a lot of risk in making these drops because everybody's going to be going for a car or trying to stretch as far as possible. So now if you're one of these teams that kind of drops like Pachinki, you can land quickly, maybe get an AR, and take some shots at some of these guys as they're trying to long drop across you, and maybe get a free kill out of it.
I'm already seeing a spread loot. Look at that. You can see Elgiganten and Singularity sort of on that south area around the quarry. They're already looking for the vehicles and the compounds. They're kind of looking in the same area. This is the chaos that could reign. I was talking about Alliance. They're a Severny Zharki split team, but they also go Novo, and that's exactly where they're going. Now, Atlantis, formerly known as Limitless, also go to Novo, so they're already looking to clash for territory.
It looks like the guys from Alliance have already been scared off. That's the confidence drop that comes into play. You drop down, whoever kind of gets there first, and if you full commit to it, you can kind of scare another team out and away. You can see Alliance has now had to make their way over into a little bit worse of a looting zone with Atlantis getting full control over this area. That means they can get the loot and potentially push over towards Alliance very quickly. But this is the very first round. Most people tend to play a lot more passive. You don't want to give up those first points. You want to make a statement with your first game. So a lot of the times these guys lean into a little bit more passive of play. And long-range shots, just like we were talking about. Andy Pyro trying to light up in the distance. If he lines up any more of these, he could really do a lot of damage. Losing a player before they can even touch the ground is huge, D-Man.
15 points a kill, remember. And that's Copenhagen Flames, you can see in the distance, I believe, that's trying to drop on down. They're all trying to make their way into Rozhok and get the hell out of there. And looks like he should be safe. Andy's just tapping a few more. He's only got 6 more bullets to go, so doesn't look like he's going to get the knock there. The Flames, you can see in the distance, will be making it over to Rozhok. Long dropping it, but they should be safe. One, you can see they were heading off to Watertown. Everybody's kind of securing their spots now. Even Redzone, they're already getting towards North Georgia Pole. Welcome to South Georgia Pole. They're in their home territory. Of course, South Georgia. It doesn't look like they're going to get contested in this first game.
Well, we have a pretty comfortable circle inside of this one. So it's pretty much due center in the map, really making up for the evil plane path that we saw just a second ago. So now these guys should be able to migrate into the circle fairly easily. Most of these guys are already in a position to where they can have control over the areas that they want. Really, it's just going to be like the guys over in Novo or the guys over in Milta might have to make a little bit of a transition.
So Method in the safe zone. Looks like Team Blank are going to satisfy for the spread Gatka area. Elgiganten and Singularity, they are very much mingling amongst one another. It does mean that Ferry Pier is actually open. It's one of the areas you've got to expect the Stalbrun Kameshki to be open currently. It could all change, of course. Here's back to Zharki. Robin, he's in the apartments around school area. They've decided to occupy that territory. And it's very important to talk about these spots. The reason we're mentioning it so much is because everybody's got feelers out in this game. Everybody's trying to figure out where they're all going to be. They may have had a couple of scrims just to figure it out. Everybody knows where Faze and Knights, etc. are going. But there is a couple of teams in there with a 20-man cluster. It does cause a few problems. Now, Moonwolf, they're in the Milta ground. Looks like they're pretty much happy. These guys all on the south coast have kind of adjusted for themselves. I can see Izako Boars are actually on that south coast loot spree. They are bumping pretty close alongside the guys from Penta down there. Here's the Wizards and Liquid. They're splitting east-west on Yasnaya as well. You can see Abitsa's just got collecting himself an M4. Looks like Gova's already got himself a Scar as well. So most of these guys, this is fairly standard for Liquid and Wizards. They kind of knew this was happening, and I believe they were qualified in the same lobby as well. I may be completely wrong on that, but Liquid are fairly used to it. I talked to a beatster and he's like, that's fine. We'll take 75% of Yasnaya. They can have the other 25.
Yasnaya is perfectly fine. We usually see a lot of teams drop into Yasnaya. Potentially, you could see 2 teams inside of Rajak, but it gets really dangerous when you do that. Georgia Pool can potentially support up to 4, but you got to be really polite with your neighbors if you do it. The big thing about this first round, though, is going to be a lot of information gathering. Like you were talking about, these guys have played a couple of scrims next to each other, but you kind of mind game scrims a little bit. You know, you drop somewhere you're not going to necessarily go to. So a lot of these unsigned teams are guys that played their way through the qualifier and recently got signed. They can really shake up what's happening right now. Whenever we're talking about Elgiganten, that's over on the side over there. They're kind of separated out on that western coast over near Quarry. You can see that Singularity is also kind of pushed into the Quarry area as well. So that whole area of the map is kind of held down. The guys from Grow Up are going to already reposition. Looks like they're going to get very pure like you were talking about a second ago. Nothing too crazy inside of this first round, and that's kind of to be expected. Where everybody's just going to kind of settle in and get that information. You want to find out who's dropping next to you and if they're going to be repeatedly doing it. So over the next round or 2, they want to really make sure, okay, this team is going to drop here. So that way if they start seeing something light up inside the kill feed and Chris looks like he's got himself a present from heaven, and that's pretty stacked crate there. Oh my God, that's full tier 3.
That's nice. They're going to be happy with that. Of course, the Grows are in there. We saw the Grows are doing some beastly work. If you missed it on the GLL on Tuesday, oh my word, it was welcome to South George. Very nearly took a 1v4 with the Grows. Just ran out of bullets, unfortunately, and Faze took him. But it was some amazing action. A lot of these teams were clashing in that. Now, Method being one of those.
Well, Method
they're already positioning.
Right and look at this. They're already centered up on the
map.
They've got a crate that's dropped onto them. They can just loot as long as they want right here. They're just chill. Like they got to take those couple of shots at people that were coming around them so that they know there's a couple of teams that are over towards the north, potentially in those areas around the school apartments area or over in Sunken City. Well,
where 80 is right now, this is a common spot, I would say, for Method. They've kind of been in and around here a number of times, so not too surprising to see 80 already. Very much center circle as well. You may even see, probably almost certainly will see from Method, a 2-2 split. And like maybe a north-south, just trying to figure out where the circle's going to swing. We can see there's a big portion of Sosnovka in there. It is most likely going to swing away from that one. So they're looking pretty good around the center at the moment. Udia may fire. He's fit his entire name into his tag. Amazing.
Hey.
He's been Penta Udia for so long, but he's got his full name in there, taking shots on Alliance as they rotate away from Novo.
One thing I did want to backtrack on, talking about some of these guys already in position, you can see, waiting for the transition phase. Naturally, we have the circle that's starting to close in now, so they tried to find points where they knew teams were going to be moving from, trying to get those early kills on it. Specifically, the guys with the DP, those things can just tear apart a vehicle. So where we saw Atsi a second ago, he kind of pulled away from the rest of the guys over in the Pachinki area, holding up on the hillside. So whenever somebody comes by him, light him up, and it looks like Chronix might have line of sight on one.
Yeah, he's going to get a little peek on Alliance. Alliance taking the risk to go past Penta. They know that they're in and around that farm spawn area. Interestingly enough, Atlantis that were with Alliance splitting Novo effectively, or sort of semi-sharing it, Atlantis have been very, very cautious. And bearing in mind, this is game 1 of 15. You've got to be cautious of your routes. They've chosen to go all the way around the south of Sosnovka Island because they didn't want to bump into Alliance. Alliance themselves, being careful they don't bump into Penta. They know that Moonwolf's over on the Milta side, so they're going for the beachfront. They're trying to get around there. So everybody really, really cautious with their rotation paths right now. And because it's 20 teams, it's going to be very clustered in around that middle.
You know that these guys have, they have to be really nervous at this point. They're playing on the stage for the first time. They know the fact that there's 20 teams inside of here. They don't know where everybody is dropped at. Sure, you landed and you kind of know who dropped around you. Now you're hopping into a vehicle and you don't know who's going to be over the next hill. There could be just some guy that's in position already having to migrate on foot that could just tear you to pieces as you crest a hilltop. So that's why you see a lot of these people are kind of pushing off to the side. And I gotta say, I love Blank's logo. Sure, it's Blank. Just because it's a piece of paper there, you know, got everybody with their fancy logos coming up, and Blank's like, nah, we got this.
Yeah, and more importantly, going back to the nerves, there is no one dead yet, so nobody wants to be the first to die. Faze Clan themselves taking a relatively northern path, going across the sawmill and across that way, trying to avoid the likes of Moonwolf and Penta in those rotations. They've got to be careful. They're heading quite close to Copper Magic. We just saw, obviously, Penta taking shots on Alliance a moment ago, so they're certainly not afraid to go for it. 15 points a kill, remember. You want to get those rotational kills. It's effectively free farming points. Fuzzface, ooh, he's coming close, you know, and they're the other side. The vehicles are pretty well hidden. I think he may have just got a sniff of it, though, and now you can see 60 and VZ running for that shot, looking to try and take down Fuzzface. What a first kill that could be for someone. They do just get a clip on the car, but he's going to get past safely. May well actually just go for the coastline. There's a good shack up on the coastline there. The rest of the players are going to be blasted on by. Mexi should be relatively safe, obviously unprotected in that bike, but it is the speed that should get him by. Now this is the danger actually. When he comes past, Fuzzface from up on high. Real taking so low, one tap! Oh, and he goes to ground. Will get himself healed off there. The SKS doing work.
He just dropped to the ground at the absolute last second and managed to survive through that. Look at his face is like, no, okay, you want to take some pot shots at us? We'll return the favor. You know you're posted up inside that building? Nah, you have to move now.
And now the Alliance are just like, yeah, okay, this is not safe anymore.
We don't like this. We don't like it. Let's get out of here.
Haxetti coming in, swinging in around the side as well. They're going to be getting around there. So it is this little shack, the cliffside. It's a fairly common spot that teams will go to, but it's actually a fairly southern spot as well for Faze Clan. They're looking towards a southern shift. You can see Mexi actually going towards Potato Hill as well. Knights coming in the same way. So they are going for that split position, Faze Clan, hoping for the north-south splits, just trying to edge the bets tactically on where the circle will go to. It gives us that small time. It's Taozera. Almost gets the knock there. It's a knock back and forward, but Miracle will come in, and Taozera sadly will be the first man to go down from Welcome to South George, taking down Singularity.
Nice awareness there. They managed to play around that. That's an awkward fight whenever you're having to fire straight up and straight down on top of two different teams. So we do have our first casualty coming out inside of that. It looks like the rest of the guys from Singularity are just running out of this. They're like, no, actually, it's okay. You'll get your res. Not worth the push-up to go down there. So they're just going to drop down in this lower area. Looks like, yeah, easy res for Gaxi. Got the smokes down. Nothing too dangerous there.
And that's a fairly standard spot for Welcome to South George. They're going to be happy that they've managed to take control of that hill. It does keep them safe. Chronix now from Penta pushing up on the Italians. Moonwolf, Germany v Italy. Didn't happen in the World Cup, sadly, but it may well happen here. As Chronix in all sorts of trouble. O'Connell takes him down, and Chronix will fall. There's no saving him there, unfortunately. It's going to be O'Connell who will secure the kill, their first 15 points of the day. And
that was just a solo kind of hanging out over there. Looks like the scout went out and tried to get a little bit of information. Didn't see any vehicles or anything like that, so felt it was safe to crest and come up to this wall. You see a lot of the teams are going to be playing around these walls because they provide a little bit extra cover. You get those full 360 degrees of fire ranges whenever you're firing out from that wall at position. So that's why you kind of crash into that spot and try to look out in the distance of it. But circle is going to be up. Looks like it's going to be going down around Ferry Pier and Quarry, where we were talking about beforehand. So guys from Faze already inside of their vehicles. I love the fact that Faze and Liquid jump into their vehicles right before the circle pops up and already moving.
Already on the way. You can see the scouts, the bikes. It's a straight up race going across. It's actually going to go across Rafi. He's going to make sure he doesn't get caught out by Jeans, but Jeans is getting tagged up heavily there. A shot. He's going to have to swing it wide. He does manage to avoid most of the shots unless he gets clipped in the distance. Now, Welcome to South George. We're in position early on. Remember, we saw them fighting for that hill, and it's turned out perfectly for them because that's exactly where they are based. Elgiganten as well, just to the side. We saw Redzone there, also taking shots. 20 teams moving into this smaller location gets very testy. There's not a great deal of landmass and real estate that these guys are going to be able to fight for. It is a calamity. That's 6 teams all blasting across, looking for the smallest of shacks. Who can get there first? Whose teammates will set them up? It's going to be Knights going down. Voxic picked off by Izako Boars there. Mazalis, formerly known as Hasari, himself a little bit of rotation.
But it's just so many teams. Once you make it past one, you have to run through the next firing squad. Way off in the distance, you can see Redzone is already positioned. All these guys low ground area around Gatka, so there's just nowhere to go. It's just vehicles trying to find somewhere, but these early transitions from the other teams are just waiting for them.
Sports trying to get Texas down there. Of course, the Knights have had some massive performance in the distance, but it is a tough old knock for them. Remember, they've already lost one. Texas does get knocked, and kill secured by T-Bone from Alliance, stealing the 15 points away from Grower P-Sports there. So Knights already losing 2 in the very second circle on the rotations. That is a disaster. Faze looks like they're going to post up on the hill. You can see Atlantis here, who were down in Novo, remember, at the start. They're taking more shots, and it's still the Knights. They can't find a home.
Everything is just already taken at this point. Everybody's got their little footholds that they've managed to position into. They opted for a little bit further into the Gatka area. So it looks like they're forced to go into a shack. They might go for like a 1-1 split over here where we got Kramer in one spot and Drayden off in the distance. They're just playing for safety at this point. When you see a split into shacks like that, you know that they're playing off the back.
Look around the map right now. You can see the teams that tried to go center, they're the ones that are losing people in the rotations right now. Penta have said no. Oh, Drayden goes down. Knights are down to 1. They may be the first team eliminated here in 20th place. Haxedi picking a kill up there for Faze. Moonwolf chose to stick out on the edge. Penta are on the eastern side as well. Copenhagen Flames, they're sticking around the north. Wizards are sticking around the north. Redzone are coming in very late. They're going to be up in the north as well. So these teams are just like, we do not want any of this. 20 teams rotation in the same spot. So at least 5 or 6 of them have opted to say, you know what? We're going to play on the edge for now. We weren't in a good position, so we just don't want to risk it. And that's really what the risk is, because obviously you think of where the Knights spawn. They're way out on the mansion pen side, and they've had to make this long travel all the way into the center. And it's just cost them, unfortunately. Too many teams posted and ready.
Well, EU plays around a set transition style. They know exactly where they want to go to from building to building and how they want to maneuver through. This area is actually very rough to play around because there's so much flatlands inside of it. You can see the guys from Method. They're just looking out and across field after field from this hilltop. Anybody that has to be forced to move at this point is going to have to contend with at least 3 to 4 different squads in different positions that can line up on them, and some long-range shots coming out from Atlantis.
That's 2 crates that Method have got. That was a
Andy
Pyro. So that's 2 crates they managed to pick up. So 2 tier 3 helmets secured from Method. So a good amount of equipment. You saw the M24 work coming out from Atlantis there onto Alliance. They did manage to get a knock on one of the Alliance members. That's, of course, the difference with the weapon patch that came in with the Kar98s, with the M24s. Headshots are a big old thing. There's going to be a lot of knocks and a lot of helmets lost.
Well, what's really interesting now is everybody's kind of within range of each other. They can all take a couple of pot shots at each other. So when this next circle pops, some of these teams could be involved in fights with each other and kind of skirmishing, which could allow some easy transitions if people move fast enough.
Well, we can see Method. They're actually going to try and transition. Personally, I would have stayed on the hill. I think it's too risky to move, and actually looks like they're just securing the vehicles. You can see the Flames are blasting straight in towards Blank. Faze are going to have to get them moving as well. Looks like they're all going to try and angle for positions. There's not a lot of landmass. This is a very much an open field territory. Look where Faze Clan are right now. They're kind of plumb center on that hillside, but that's so risky because you could easily get another team just come over the brow of the hill. We saw it at DreamHack Austin so often. Teams just getting pushed from multiple angles over the hills.
And we can see the grow-ups trying to make their way through here. Just crashes right into one of the barricades off to the side. That's just going to make them an easy target for all these squads. You can see just tearing into him with a mini. That's going to be some nice shots coming out from Faze to get one. Can they net the second one right now? You can see just trying to turn out so much damage now coming onto him. And yes, he's going to get taken down by the squad off in the distance. Boars gets the kill for us.
So 2 down for Grow Up Esports. Will there be more? As I see another knock in the distance there. They are going to be able to get the revive on him, though. I can see Mazales is getting back up. But interesting you saw with Faze there. Yemti got the knock and then went straight for the kill. Instead of looking to secure another knock, he went straight for the kill. That's 15 points.
Yeah.
Thinking early on, you know, ordinarily you would see them just going, okay, knock, let's get the next knock, let's get the next knock, and then let's finish it off. But they're all honing in on those kills.
I love the position that Faze is in right now. I feel this is one of the strongest areas of the map for circles like this because you can play in all the little defilades and you just have such clean sight lines. Like, look out in front of them. If anybody has to move, they can just take so many free shots on anybody that has to transition. The downside is the more and more the circle might collapse around them, it gets really hard to defend because there's so many different points on the hills back behind them.
Yeah, there's no freedom. You can see he's already got his eyes on the Boars. They're in that shack, and he's looking at the wooden shack. He's keeping his eye on every position where the danger positions effectively to him. Anywhere that can take a shot, like you say, he's got such a large radius. There goes a couple of taps, and now he's in all sorts of trouble. He's got to get out of there. But speaking of trouble, back to Zharki. T-Bone gets bombed down, and the secure kill will come in from Faze. Some UMP action coming out from Alliances.
I love the UMP, and I like the fact that it's starting to get a little bit more love these days. Long-range shots now coming out from Fever. As you can see, Flames did manage to find a nice line of sight onto Liquid, but G was just crashing straight into there. That's a strong point to play around, but you can end up a little trapped.
There's a crate coming down right next to Liquid as well. They've just gone in towards that compound. There's a crate coming, I think it's right behind them or maybe in front of them. No, it's right in front of them. Okay, it's a risky crate to get, I would say. Alliance still not in the circle, by the way, so they're going for the shots there, but they haven't secured themselves a position just yet. Penta are creeping up onto the hill on the western side. That's going to be the other side of Method. Method themselves are pretty comfortable. Liquid have gone for a 2-2 split. That is a fat crate right there. When you've got to scroll down.
Everything.
When
that
you've
is
got to
everything.
scroll down,
Look at that.
you know it is a good crate. Speaking of that, back to Zharki and also to trouble again. Samti getting knocked, but it looks like back to Zharki. I've lost 2 now to Alliance. That is a 30-point kill for that.
Alliance still in their position, trying to get a little bit more damage. Bullets do go a little bit wide from Zigzy. Can't quite net the kill onto the guys off in the distance there. Back to Zharki is going to get a pretty free rotation. They're playing outside and in the blue. Alliance also in a similar spot, so now they know that they have to move. This becomes the risk of playing edge. Whenever you're holding down a position like this, you end up having to take a little bit more damage than you want. And these are competitive circles. They do tick pretty hard.
And the problem is, if you've took shots on someone, they will remember that. And if they've leapfrogged you effectively, now you're coming out of the blue, you're going to get it paid back, aren't you? Double time. You can see Groper trying to do the same thing onto Alliance, who move onto that hill. That's not a safe hill they're on. Oh my word, the circle shift is real. It goes to the north, and Method from center. There is going to be some severe rotations. Look at all of those Western teams that all need to rotate in. Will they go north? Will they go south? Right now, Wizards, they're going to go round the north. That is the safest place to go right now. But there's only going to be so much territory they can move into.
In that area just to the west of Pachinki, you've got that barn area, you've got the rocks you can play around. If you're Wizards, you crash into that northern area. But I gotta say, Redzone, fearless. Look at them. They're cutting right in between everybody. They're just hard crashing into this. The Faze guys already in transition as well. They know that they're in a bad spot and they have to cross that field, so they're opting into an early movement. But we've got so many vehicles stacked on top of each other, all going to the same spot.
Atlantis are going to get to the hill before Faze. This could be a problem for Faze Clan. Moleman, of course, Method were in position. We talked about Redzone. Frost does get taken down. Method will take him out. Atlantis have already got out the vehicles on the top. They're looking for Faze. You can see Washout. He's actually caught Mexi down. Mexi's going to go down. That's going to be another as well. Being dropped off. 60 meanwhile tries to get taken down. Yempty gets dropped from Faze Clan. This rotation has not gone well for so many teams who are over on the west side. Atlantis managed to get the hillside first. That's the prime territory that everyone wanted. We can see Moon Clan actually. Moonwolf coming up below the Moon Clan. I know a bit of a Faze Clan and Moonwolf mix there going on, but they're trying to push up on Atlantis. Everybody's trying to get on this hill.
You can see just shots raining down. The problem is whenever you're on top of a hill like this, you're drawing everybody's attention. Now Fuzzface does have line of sight on the guys from Boars, trying to get a little bit of damage, does get one of them down, forces the other one back behind the tree. The guys from Atlantis up on the top of the hill are already contending with another squad, and that's going to be Moonwolf off to the side that we were just talking about. This is going to be brave. You can see the smokes are coming out. They're tempted to go for that res, but now return fire is coming out from Boars.
Fuzzface and Haxetti both taken very low there. Liquid, meanwhile, in the distance, they're getting a lot of kills. I think Alliance have maybe flushed out, actually. I can see one team has gone down. Actually, 3 teams have gone down somewhere in that rotation. It was a pretty chaotic move. Yempty does get finished off by Ghost Star, so Faze down to 2 now with just Haxetti and Fuzzface in the distance.
Moonwolf is pulling out. Too dangerous.
This is the push. Atlantis got that hill first, and it has cost so many teams so many problems. They're all trying to get up there. Giganto on the side trying to push up as well. A grenade comes in. Ghost Star, that's going to be the boys from ex-Hasari team going down as well. That's gone out in 17th place. Jackson trying to toss a nade out there as WTSG challenge up close and personal with Flames.
Well, the thing about it is now everything is stacked. Anytime you try to reposition now, you're going to be running into another squad. The guys from Welcome to South George playing on the outside of this, trying to get a little bit more information, and we still have 52 people up and alive. Most of these guys have managed to fight their way and get a little bit of a hold inside of this circle, and I gotta say, Welcome to South George is just doing a great job about playing in this northern area, but the circle is collapsing down right back behind them.
Yeah, and they've lost one. Haxetti's off.
Faze got the res.
Fuzzface is
Didn't
getting...
they?
No, he's just getting the loot from, I think that was Ghost Star that went down there, so he's just managing to steal the loot away. And then he's going for it, but he's getting ripped apart. The UMP from a DMA fire, not quite enough. He gets tagged himself. This is the problem. You go for that rotational kill. As soon as you start taking shots, you are a beacon for anybody else, the third party.
This is the problem with 20-man teams whenever you're playing in something along these lines. When you end up with these clear sight lines where you can take pot shots, right as soon as you do, you go loud, somebody off in the distance hears you, spins on you, and does some damage. So you have to be very careful from every angle you fight from. And a hard breach now coming up from guys from Rogue.
Rogue just blasted straight in there. The smoke doing the job, but it's maybe forced them out there. Fuffin's coming around the side. They're trying to track down exactly where they are. They don't want to block each other in the door. Going full-on Counter-Strike there, making sure they don't block each other out there. Hamster got himself another one on red line. We've lost 29 players in these first 3 circles. Time for things to settle down now. The circle's about to bop straight back in again to get things going. The Flames with a nade, managing to go back and forward with WTSG. As we see Fuzzface moving up the hillside on Atlantis. Remember, he was pressed out. It was Atlantis, of course, faced so many problems. He wants a little bit of revenge there. The circle.
And he's playing for it.
It's a Method circle once again, and Fuzzface gets himself another.
Look at this. He's got a perfect beat on 2 different points. If they push at the same time, maybe they can get him, but they're coming out in different sinks. He's already got 3 down. The last person has to push up, finally gets the down onto Fuzzface. That's going to be potentially some reses coming out, as I don't think anybody has any angles on this.
Yeah, Haxetti's off in the distance. He went for the split there, so Fuzzface almost going huge and taking down Atlantis in a 4v1. That would have been magical, didn't it? It wasn't able to secure it. He got another one.
Oh my God.
He got the secure. He got
both of them.
That's it. No, because Andy Pyro just took that Grubsy, so they've all gone. So actually, Faze Clan got themselves, what, 3-4 kills out of that.
45 points, can't complain about that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're in a little like cubby hole that they're hiding in over there. At this point, you just have to play for points. When you're the last person alive, you just have to say, okay, that's it. We're just going to try to play for position and sneak into the circles as best we can.
So Larson getting a knock. Elgiganten also in trouble. Here's Team Blank pushing up around the edge. They're not in the circle at the moment. By the way, the circle looking very good for Method and Wizards at the moment. Team Liquid also in there, occupying a very strong compound, Liquid, at the moment. They got that crate just outside of the Method themselves. They picked up 2 crates early on. I think they may have lost one. No, I tell you, they've still got 4 alive, so they're still looking
the blue,
very good.
and he gets taken down as he's having to push in.
That was just CSG got 15th place.
They got stuck in a little hold there, and they just couldn't push into Elgiganten. They were just holding down a great spot there. Meanwhile, off in the distance, you can see a little bit of damage coming out as Rogue still holding down this long-range fight with them.
Kramer still alive and going. Just got himself a knock. He's the only man standing. The Flames get eliminated. They go down. Team Liquid pick themselves up a quick 3 kills there as well as they take them down. So we're down to 12 teams. Rio's going down. I believe they've just been eliminated as well. CWTSG, they did get a lot of kills, but Volman has them dead to rights here. Rogue try and rock up. They do get inside the crate. They managed to lose Jazza in the distance there. It's actually Elgiganten that stole the kill away from Method as they try and pop shots down the hill.
The problem with it is now Rogue can't even stand up inside of that. You can see a nice line of sight down from Method. They're looking straight down into him so they can just take any shots. Elgiganten still has to move out and cross right into Rogue's crossfire.
Yeah, they need to try and push out. They did just get 1 kill there. Savage tries to make a move as he tries to sneak around the side. We also saw Kramer, actually. If you look on the minimap in the bottom right, you can see that number 9. That's Kramer from the Knights that snuck his way in there. Remember Knights that lost so many people in that rotation early on? They've just kept that one little snake alive, sneaking in the grass. There's only 32 players alive now. We've lost so many already in these rotations, but we're down to the last 11 teams as everybody moves on. This hillside is going to get very interesting. Kramer, you can see in that shack, he's got Team Blank moving up on him.
But here comes the big problem now, is every time somebody crests or moves into a different spot, specifically on those top of the hills where you want to fire down and get control over these areas, so many teams can now look back up. We still have 31 people alive. It's very, very risky anytime you do any of these hard peaks at the top of the hill.
Where's the circle going to go? North, south, east, west,
Ooh,
bang, central.
Not too terrible.
It forces Liquid out of their compound. It forces Method just edge a little bit further forward. Wizards can just congest them, getting themselves together.
Haxette is
you
in
can
trouble.
see out on the west.
He's got to cross a wide open field right into a hill. That's going to be so hard to cross by himself.
He does have a motorbike, but that's still going to be very tough.
Yeah, I mean, but where do you go? You go right into the Method that's going to be on top of the hill? This is going to be really hard. This is where the pressure comes into these teams. We were talking about the fact that FaZe and Knights were probably 2 of the picks that a lot of people are imagining are going to be making it to Berlin. This is a very rough first round for them. They have to adapt and they have to survive as much as they can.
So we have a number of gatekeepers right now. We have Team Blank being kept out by Method, who in the distance you see Penta actually get taking shots. Penta themselves need to move up, so Method have 1, 2, 3, 4 teams, I believe, that all need to compress up to their spot, which is going to be a problem for Method. They're going to get pressured. Redzone have 1 pushing up on them. They're on the western side as well. Liquid and Wizards actually pretty safe. Liquid have already gone in the circle. They are living the dream right now for game number 1.
This is the bad part right here. With all these guys now having to push up, move forward, they're just having to move right into this area. You can see the ones trying to make it off in the distance. Redzone's just on the other side of the hill from them. A lot of damage now coming down as Method is up on top of the hill, but it looks like they're distracted into another fight. If they end up looking back down there, it's going to be crazy.
Fake managed to land the nade. Meanwhile, we see a Method. They're getting pushed. You can see on Team Blank, they're trying to work their way up the hillside. Yannick and co from Rogue have just been eliminated by Penta, so they pushed around. They chose to go around the edge there. I think Ewan is the last man standing for Rogue, so he's managed to get out, so they're just trying to keep them alive in the game at the moment, try and get higher placement positions. Penta, they've just got front for Rogue. Now they're pushing up on Method, but Ewan goes down. That's going to be the end of Rogue, going down in 10th place as Andy Pyro manages to light up Brexico there. He's going to get picked off with that Groza. Gets a little peek on Udime Fire, shows his head a little too much. And Andy Pyro with this Groza. He had an amazing game in an SK12 the other day, by the way. I want to throw that out. He got 9 kills in that game.
Method right now has a DP and a Groza for what's going to be a close-range fight on top of a hill. Anytime somebody crests anywhere around them, the spray alone is just going to tear apart a team. Penta's under so much pressure right now, as you can see, Cup of Magic is trying to cross.
Team Blank just going straight on top of 1. That's going to cause problems for them, but Cup of Magic has just been knocked by Haxette and taken down. Haxette on on the move. He's actually got himself on the edge, and Penta are down to 1, I believe now. Udime Fire, the last man standing, while they've been running into Method, and you can see Haxetti just on that western coast. That ballsy player. I think he's got himself in the shack, but look at James, look at Liquid.
Oh, he reclaimed.
They've gone central position.
Yeah.
This is so good.
With this fight, Method moved down and got involved in those lower fights. Now we can see that Liquid's managed to get control. All these side skirmishes has allowed Haxetti to get into what could potentially be a safe spot.
Knights going down in 8th place. You see, he's finally been worked out there, but that's great considering they lost so many players early on. Redzone and Blanca kind of engaging each other on the western side. Haxetti's just creeping his way in. Oh, the nades come across, and it's the
long
Wizards
range.
Who will
Look
find
at that.
Faze there, 7th place for the Faze Clan, and the circle goes to Liquid, really. James, he went for the central spot. That's really nice. We work for him. Udime Far goes down. That's Penta going out in 6th place. Method picking up a lot of kills here as well along the way with their Groza.
Oh, but Blank's pushing right over into red zone. They're just waiting there. A nice spray from Celis. Turns back. Gets another one. That's 2 already down. Gonna go for the 3rd one. That's gonna put all the pressure onto him. You can see Blank is now just running. The lone sole survivor is like, no, I want nothing to do with this. Pipe is just running out, but he's gonna be running right below Method. They don't see him. They're looking back down where the firefight's happening, but he's gonna walk right into another 3-man squad.
Andy Pyro's right there. He's just going to come straight over the top there. 8C drawn towards that. They've just seen Blank get eliminated. Suddenly we're down to 15. 8C has a perfect angle. He's just waiting for everybody else to get in position. Look at the minimap. Everybody from Method is just getting into position to take a couple of shots here. There they go. They unleash. That's going to be Celis going down. 8C will secure that one. Chris gets Piebass down as well. So Blank go down in 5th place.
8C went down.
Scoom just picks out of nowhere. Liquid finally getting involved in this one.
This
they
is
have
huge.
the circle, and they're going to keep Method out of it.
Method was doing all the damage. They got weakened in these long fights up on top of this hillside. Liquid got position. They got control of the circle, but now Wizards is sneaking up and encroaching right back behind them. If they stay focused over this direction, over towards Red Zone and over towards Method, Wizards could just sneak up right back behind them, get the shots, and it looks like nobody's seen them yet.
Yeah, Wizards sneaking running behind them, and this could work out so well for Method because they have the high ground. They have themselves 8 kills and counting already. They get a little sneak peek on Macandark down the end there, but they're going to try and go around the eastern circle of this. Now, they realize that Liquid are down there. They can't risk it. They're going to have to back away. They got the revive off as well. So now Liquid have to deal with Wizards. They have to secure themselves a position behind them. Really nice rotations from Method here. They know that Penta are dead, so they know that. Western circle is clear. Arrows, though, picked off. Liquid have seen them, and now Wizards are in trouble.
You can see that there's so much stress that's now starting to come onto Scoom. Scoom didn't see the side push over there coming out from Macandark. He's dropped down. They're all caught up on the side. Finally, James does see him, gets that down on top of him, so Red Zone is now down and out. Method's still holding the top of the hillside, but you can see Liquid's trying to figure out how they want to transition through. Etsy's just hard pushing down, trying to get his vehicle in some form of cover so the rest of his guys can make it their way down this hillside.
Moleman tagging away. They're trying to duck out. Look at this. They're trying to dodge Liquid from the left-hand side, and Moleman's getting himself 3 kills. They've got 9 kills and counting. It's 80 kills his vehicle. Samty gets hyper down. That's on the left-hand side. The last 3 teams, and it's going to be very much between Method and Liquid as Wizards get picked apart in the distance from multiple angles.
Right steps right up next to him, but Abisa manages to duck down. He's already lost half of his life. Smokes are now starting to come out as they're trying to get a little bit more control. But Liquid's caught between so many different squads right now. Finally, Liquid gets control over Wizards, so we are down to just 2 as now Method is just unloading.
The Nade King James that delivers and gets himself a quick double kill there. 10 kills and counting. There's a nade going back towards Abisa. He might catch him out the side.
He does!
Samty and Abisa down. James got Andy Pyro at the same time, so it's a 2-on-3. 80 up close with the smoke. You can see James going left, Scoom going right. He needs to try and get the revive on him.
This grenade.
He can, but there's another nade coming towards him. Could he land on the Nade King? No, James is safe as we're down to a 3-on-3.
You can see that Scoom is trying to figure out if he can get over to Ibiza. He really wants to get this player back up. They need the numbers right now. It is a 3v3 with Ibiza down. It's technically a 3v2. But yeah, they're hard pushing onto it. A lot of damage coming down. Is he going to be able to make it towards the tree? Just barely. Etsy's going for the side flank, though. Now James has given away his position. Can he get this shot?
Moleman's coming around the side as well. Scoom's going to catch him. He does. He can't manage to land a shot. The AKM tries to spray it down. Moleman's pushed from
pops up, but he gets it.
The headshot. 80 takes James down in the meantime as well. James secured and downed. It's a down to a 2-on-3, but of course Method 1 man down. 12 kills and counted for Method. Liquid in the same position. This is a risky run coming out from Moleman. He goes straight to Ibiza. Ibiza finds the headshot. Liquid looking good for game number 1 now. Ibiza and Scoom left standing against 8C in a 2-on-1. 9 kills for Liquid, 12 kills for Method. If Liquid secure this, they're going to be finishing with 12 kills themselves. The DP at this range, if he just needs to find a single head tap, we just saw Scoom jumping.
All he has to do is just line these guys up if they push off to the side of it. You can see they're trying to feed information down as they're crawling off to the side. They're like, hey, okay, this is the rock that he's at. This is where they're moving. Abisa does manage to get himself a ghillie suit, which could be huge as he's trying to sneak off to the side here. Looks like they have a pretty good idea on where he's at, but they just don't have 100% information yet. Grenades are
grenade.
starting to rain down on Etsy and do a lot of damage. Does Scoom see it? No,
Sees
he
the
sees
creep,
Chris.
but he sees the creep, and Chris will give the information. Look at AT, spins, looks in that position. The circle, well, it's going to go down.
Spots him out.
Scoom will
with that.
find him. It's going to be 12 kills for Team Liquid as they take game number 1 here out of 15. It was a very, very chaotic match, no doubt about it, Matt. But it is Team Liquid and Method. They were sitting in and around that hill the whole time, and it works out for Liquid.
I know. Well, a lot of times we talk about which